advocates started meeting with women that were coming to us just really grieving
Yeah.
or in the midst of a decision that their doctor had handed them. And we just want to be there to walk alongside people with whatever news they've been given or pressure they're facing. And I think that's the thing. I kind of mentioned that earlier. This is not like we're good with complication. Most people really see things black and white, right? At Bridgehaven, it's all gray.
Well, hello, my name's Stefan, and I'm here with Chelsey, the executive director at Bridgehaven, and we are so excited to be having this chat. So in this video, we're going to learn more about Bridgehaven, what they do, who they minister to. We're going to learn about Chelsey and show some really cool things that the Lord's doing in this ministry. So Chelsey, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is going to be fun.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm excited. Well, I want to hear, so I know you've been at Bridgehaven for like 10 years as the executive director.
It'll be 10 years this year,
Yeah, don't worry, I won't say it's been a decade.
Yeah, oh, wow. I didn't even thought about that. Wow.
So, but it's been 10 years. As you came here, what were the things that drew you to Bridgehaven initially?
Yeah. You know, I feel sometimes like this was just a gift that the Lord unfolded over time.
Yeah.
You know, I had no idea really the extent of what I was walking into when I first came to Bridgehaven. And I joke, but this is the way the Lord does things. I came out of a for-profit, career-driven opportunity to this thinking that life would look simpler. I thought that I was, as a mom, wanted to take a step back from a career and we as a family work harder and more hours than I ever did in my corporate career. But the Lord has provided the balance that we need for our family. And also I think the desire of our hearts are really, fulfilled in that. My son, in 2008, we adopted our son, Max.
Awesome.
And we have an open adoption. His birth mother has we have a relationship with her.
Yeah.
We love her. She's part of our one big family, our extended family. And we love her deeply. And that really is at the core of what drives me and our family, actually. And as Max has grown, he's 15 now. And that looks different today. All of those relationships and kind of unpackaging again, what does God have planned? Yeah. And I see her in a lot of things that I do here. And I see my own struggles. I see the struggles of many women that I have known and do know and get to meet. And it's played out here on a daily basis. And so I didn't know what I was walking into. I didn't know what I didn't know. Right? Wow. They said that good old saying, but God knew. And I just haven't looked back.
Yeah.
Haven't looked back at all.
That's just so awesome. I love hearing that story. And I'm hearing this for the first time and I'm like, man, that's just beautiful. Because I know a bit about Bridgehaven, right? Been involved in a couple different ways, but seeing that from your side where, hey, you really came in and walked alongside this mom and then brought Max into your family and you're still walking alongside her and caring for Max as your son. That's just beautiful.
It is. It's complicated.
Yeah.
But what isn't? And I think that's one of the things that Bridgehaven is so unique here is we understand complications. We understand how life can throw us thing after thing after thing, and it compounds the root. Yeah. So how do we kind of dive deeper into that? But I think that for us specifically, I don't know. It's just I think we've been able to honor our birth mother and Max's birth family in such a way too. So it kind of brings things full circle. I mean, that's a. From a woman, I've never been pregnant. And so I know that when I was first here, I had someone walk into my office and say, how does this work not make you angry? there was a time where I had a longing of my heart that wasn't fulfilled. And the Lord has done so much through that when she came and she asked that question, I said, because I'm not angry, because the Lord has done something in my life and my heart to be able to allow me to do this work and do it as unto him, and not with any strings attached, not with any sort of agenda, but truly to be able to see things for what they are and move forward with his plan and his agenda.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So that was 2008, right?
He was born in 2008.
Born in 2008. When did you adopt him? What year?
We got him the day he was born.
Okay. Yep. So that was, and if you don't mind me asking, this isn't in the script, how did you get connected?
Oh gosh, that's an interesting journey. So we had been waiting with an adoption agency in town. We had kind of gone through that whole process of things, and we had background checked, all that. Then the flood happened, and they had lost some of our profiles because some of the
paper files,
all of that. Kind of felt like we were starting over again, and that was a time that was just so, the uncertainty is just crushing sometimes. But then I got a call from my husband and some kind of extended mutual friends. The wife had called my husband at work and said, our daughter is pregnant and she has chosen adoption. We know that you guys are looking, or you're wanting to adopt. Would you be interested?
Oh, wow.
And here's where my faith was at the time. This will tell you, divulge my secrets, right? But I said to my husband, I said, well, that's just not how these things work, Don.
Try telling that to the Lord.
I know. And look at what God did. I mean, it was, I could go into all of the different moments of where God showed up in the most incredible ways through this whole thing. My husband has his own view of it too, which is really, really cool to kind of hear his, like what God did through him and what God did for me. And then of course for Max and his birth mom, but he proved me wrong. It was just incredible. It was just incredible. And it was humbling, and it was heart changing. And it is an experience that I look back on and go, he's still using it. He's still using it to change me in so many ways.
Well, and it really gives you a heart for the women that are here, because we haven't even gotten into what Bridgehaven does yet, right? The women that come here, and they need the sympathy, but they need someone who really cares and has walked that path with them, right? And that's beautiful. So in a really rough transition, tell us a little bit about Bridgehaven. Who do you serve? How do you do it?
So Bridgehaven just had its 40th anniversary last year, and kind of feels like we're transitioning into a new season. What's that next 40 years really going to look like? Because it's such a journey. For the core of the ministry, what we do is offer those free pregnancy tests and ultrasound services. Obviously, ultrasound didn't start back in 1983 with us. It came along in about 2011. And things have kind of been adapting ever since then and evolving ever since then. We have an Earn While You Learn program where families can come. The core of those classes are really those prenatal, baby basics, toddler, trying to keep those at our core. Those are always running. And then we have some other classes on top of that will run some life skills classes, financial or Bible studies as well. We now have a men's program we're launching. We've been really trying to get that off the ground, and we're going to have an official class this summer for them. We've got some mentors going too, so that we're really excited about. And then we also have abortion recovery. We have retreats for that. We have our pregnancy loss and miscarriage care support. That's probably our most recent program that we've added. And that came right as COVID was kind of hitting. There was there was such a need, and we had been really planning on it. We've been doing some research, getting some training, that sort of thing. And then it just COVID couldn't stop that one. Like that just needed to really keep moving forward. And advocates started meeting with women that were coming to us just really grieving or in the midst of a decision that their doctor had handed them. And we just want to be there to walk alongside people with whatever news they've been given or pressure they're facing. And I think that's the thing. I kind of mentioned that earlier. This is not like we're good with complication. Most people really see things black and white, right? At Bridgehaven, it's all gray. Everything's gray. There is no one right way to do it. There is no one right decision. There is no one thing that I could tell someone to say, this is going to fix your problem, other than knowing the Lord, right? Like, and that's at the root of it. That just being able to be kingdom minded in that, and taking our time with everything else, you know. So that's in all the services that we provide. We also do go into schools and teach healthy relationships courses and classes and curriculum there as well. I know that we are in the Youth Detention Center here in Cedar Rapids, and then some other programs throughout the community too.
Man, that's awesome. So, I mean, really, as you think about what Bridgehaven does and who they care for, it's not just the moms, it's not just the dads, it's not just the kids, right? It's everyone who's involved in their lives, right? How can we bless them and care for them from a kingdom mindset? Right? So taking that perspective, knowing that, hey, Jesus is the solution to all these problems. He promised that he gives us all we need for life and godliness, right? But bringing that to moms when they're faced with a tough decision, right? When they don't know how to actually care for this newborn, right? To dads that...
The practical side of all of it, right? What does it look like on a daily basis? And, you know, a lot of times moms and dads are just trying to survive, you know, having a newborn. I remember, I mean, I wasn't pregnant and I didn't have, you know, the healing physically that I needed, but I lost my mind as a new mom. Like I was like, I left my wallet I was left in the grocery line at least 3 times without my wallet. That's never happened outside of having a newborn for me. And I remember calling my mom at work and calling my husband, like, can you just like give the credit card over the phone? What's happening to me? And so that happens to us. We need to have community come alongside us. And that's so important in our walk. And as long we desire is that godly community to come alongside our families that we serve, so that we can gently and lovingly begin to point in the direction of the Lord.
Letting his people help point others toward him. Right? That's what we do.
It doesn't happen overnight. You may not see a harvest. We're planting seeds all over the place, hopefully and prayerfully and graciously. But it's all part of the day-to-day.
Oh, for sure. You mentioned the launching a ministry for dads. Right? Heard one of the dads that did he was a mentor in the past. There are still guys that are calling him just to connect and, hey, I could use some help with this. I've got this question. Those relationships should last for not just a short season, not just the pregnancy, early childhood, but going beyond that. And you guys have just modeled it so well. So
we desire that. We've done it, you know, we've been able to do it in small ways, you know, one life at a time. And especially with the dads program, I think we've had some that have really gone really, really well. And others were like, all of a sudden that guy we don't know where he's at. But I will tell you, being here 10 years, I've seen that happen. And I've seen 3 years later, somebody walks through the door and that they knew where to go because they had been here before. And we don't ever want to miss those opportunities either. You know, everybody's journey and story is so different. And so we can't judge. We just walk kind of obediently in every opportunity that we get to have.
I love it. So with the men's program specifically, what are some specific things that you guys are rolling out here coming pretty soon? So we have started what's called Dr. Dad. It's a curriculum through our national affiliate, CareNet. And it really couples well with the prenatal class. So we've seen our couples
increase the number of couples coming to us for classes, increase over really the last couple of years. And so we really want to target those guys and say, hey, there's a great next step for you. And this actually gets you more practically into what are those circumstances you're going to be facing? And have you gone through the curriculum yet?
Yes, I have.
All right.
There's a lot of really good stuff. And even the quizzes, one thing, having a couple little kids, I'm like, oh, I remember when I needed to figure that out.
Yeah.
So having gone through it, it made the tests a little bit easier for the curriculum.
Exactly. So, I mean, the fact that, you're kind of on board helping us and wanting to be a part of the pairing. So then this curriculum specifically would be more of they would do the video and the reading at home, and then meet once a week with someone like yourself, a mentor, facilitator, just to walk through what did you learn this week, and then build that relationship more effectively, but using that curriculum as that launch point for it all. And then hopefully we build those relationships. We have more opportunities for them, like a class or just continuing with a one-on-one sort of mentorship. And we create more of a community for men here too, for dads.
Well, there's such a need for it because you look at our society and there's a lot of focus on moms, and rightly so, but there's so many dads on the wayside that aren't stepping up, aren't caring for their spouse, the mother of their child, and they're just sitting in the background. And if we can fix the dads, I feel like it'll make the mom's life a lot easier.
I just think they don't know how. My husband met with a young man. It was this year. It was earlier in this. No, it was last year. And they were expecting twins, actually. Wow. And that's a lot to think about, him and his girlfriend. And the couple of times that he got to meet with this young man, the very first time he was so eager to know, he said, he used the words, I just want to be a good dad. But he didn't have the role model. He didn't have someone really teaching him that. And so his life went in a different trajectory. And that it was reflected in his relationship. It's reflected but the innate piece of his heart, he wanted to be a good dad. Okay, we can start there. Let's start there. And my husband got to share the gospel with him in that first meeting. Now life kind of got a little tricky for them, and there's been some in and out, but there's seeds that have been planted there too. And I think those are just as important as anything else that we get to do here.
And if you can teach young dads that want to be good dads, teach them about the best dad. Right? That's just good.
That is good.
Well, that's one story that probably puts some wind in your sails, but is there anything else going on that just gets you really excited and that you're just stoked for, looking forward to the future?
Yeah, there is. I mean, I'm a big picture person, obviously, and I've been watching our numbers rise over the last 9 months, really starting last summer, and not just in our pregnancy test and ultrasound services, but our client support as well. We are seeing where we are open on Mondays and Thursday night for classes, but we're running out of space. So we're using the welcome area over on the other side of the building, and we're putting chairs all over. And we're running out of classroom space, and that's a good problem to have, right?
Very uncomfortable problem.
Uncomfortable problem, and a little inconvenient from time to time. But additionally, when we moved here, this was temporary. This was because it came out of this quick move after the derecho had damaged our building to a point where we didn't want to invest that any longer. So we've taken that time, and last year at the gala I announced that there will be something coming, and that something has come, and we're excited to share that we have this grander vision. We are expanding here at this location.
Oh, awesome.
Just as we started taking a peek at things, space became available here, and the Lord had opened up some opportunity for us to consider this space, and it has been good for us. I think that, again, since we've seen that increase, we're learning that people are starting to really know where we're at. creating some roots here in this space. So we will be expanding here. We're going to go into the upstairs.
That's awesome. Are
We
you taking all of the upstairs?
Not all of it.
Okay, not yet.
Not all of it. Don't get ahead of yourself. One thing at a time.
Okay.
But we're taking over about an extra 5,000 square feet.
Wow.
So that will give us what we had needed, what we
Yep.
had talked about wanting through our feasibility study. But client support, which is our Earn While I Learn program, will take the whole first floor here.
Okay.
And then medical and administrative will move upstairs.
Okay.
So we'll be able to have differentiation of our services again, which is just better for freedom and ease of those services to be able to perform what they need to perform, do what they need to do, but also confidentiality for our clientele as well, making sure that those things are just separate. You know, gone are the days where pregnancy centers need to be like behind a building and that sort of confidentiality. But there's still this sense that we want to be really respectful of those coming through our doors. And the fact that someone coming in for a pregnancy test has a mindset and an emotional state and whatever it is she's facing that's extremely different than somebody coming in for a prenatal class, right? Those are so different. We need to keep some separation in those two things.
Yeah, that's good. And knowing the facility, I mean, that just works perfectly, right?
It really does.
You can see someone walking in upstairs for one thing, downstairs for another, and just very clear lines.
Yeah.
That confidentiality is just and that'll be beautiful.
Yeah. And the increase in clients, so those of you that might have read the annual report, you saw that it's like a 32% increase in clients in pregnancy tests. That's incredible.
Cow.
And a 15% increase in Earn While You Learn last year.
Wow.
And so we're seeing, especially Earn While You Learn, we're still seeing that increase come. So we don't know what that future is going to look like, but we want to prepare ourselves. And we also have a lot of opportunities with some of the smaller communities around us to be able to reach those clients as well that are searching for what to do next. We launched a campaign last year, a marketing campaign, that Bridgehaven's the best first step. We're the best first step for a lot of reasons and a lot of things. We're the best first step if you find yourself pregnant. We want to walk alongside you. We want to be here to answer questions. We want to give you the best medical information that we can, and give you referrals, give you, what is it that you need. But we also want to be here, that best first step when you get a diagnosis that you don't know how to process. And we can sit down with you and talk with you. We're the best first step when you have your baby. And now what do I do? Where do I go? We can offer resources and all kinds of things. So we just see ourselves as really start with us, and then let's see where we go from here. And if that continues to be really the trajectory that the Lord has for us, then I really think the sky's the limit here for Cedar Rapids and how we can serve our community well. You know,
I think a lot of people may view a pregnancy center as, hey, you're considering an abortion, so go to a pregnancy center, right? Like that's usually how a lot of people just view this ministry, but it's so much more than that. And there's so many more resources that you guys have that, man, every mom needs it. It doesn't matter if you're in crisis or not. Pregnancy's a crisis.
Being life affirming is not a political agenda.
Oh, yeah.
Being life affirming is looking at someone and hearing their story and acknowledging that what they're going through is hard, despite what I may believe or think. And I have to affirm that in that woman. We have to affirm that. And the dad. I mean, we have to affirm his life, and we have to affirm the life of the child that is there, right? We have to affirm all of that. So we have to affirm the lives of those that are in the midst of parenting, and it's tricky when those kiddos are young. Let's affirm that. Let's talk through that. Let's support each other in that, and that's where that community just comes into play too. It's just so important.
So other than space, are there any other common struggles you run up against?
I love that question because it did get me thinking. and I had just so happens that I had met with multiple board members over the last few months and asked a similar question, and it came up over and over again: distraction. Distraction is one of our biggest struggles, and that can look like a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, it's the enemy trying to distract us from our mission. So that could look like internal squabbles. That can look like not having enough volunteers. That can look like, all of a sudden we have all of these clients, but we have the same amount of food resources. So now what do we do? And how do we handle all these problems at the same time and stay the course, and not get distracted by all kinds of different things? There's a lot of external things that happen here that are distracting. Obviously, in a political season, there's things that try to rope us in, but we have to stay the course. We're not interested in playing any sort of those games at all. We're just here to do what we're called to do and to do it well.
Yeah, not focusing on the distractions, but focusing on, hey, we are here to care for moms and families and babies with a kingdom mindset.
And that's easier said than done, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
When I think distraction, it's not always easy to identify a distraction when it comes along, know? And so I think we're really growing in that, and how do we really keep it simple and stay the course? Yeah,
especially with so many different ministries that flow out of you.
Yeah.
Right? Trying to keep the right alignment. So I love that. Well, what's one way that someone could help Bridgehaven during this season? Maybe they know a lot about you. Maybe they don't know anything. What's a way that someone could help you guys right now?
Well, first and foremost, pray. Please pray for us. We are on the front line, and that comes with us with an amount of spiritual warfare that I probably can't even calculate. I probably don't even know, but I know it happens, and we see that happen. So please pray. We cannot do this without prayer. And even if you felt like you wanted to come here and pray or walk around the parking lot, I would welcome that. We kind of gotten out of seeing people do that since we've moved to this location. Maybe that's because of COVID. Maybe that was because of duration. I don't know, but I'd love to have, we can't really let you walk around the building while during the day, but certainly beforehand or after, we can make arrangements for that. But prayer is we just need that. And then I would say, consider your guests. Consider all of our instructors are volunteers. All of our mentors are volunteers, all our client advocates. These are truly frontline positions. These are positions that do need someone who's ready and willing to stand in the gap for families, teach things, love them well when things aren't always easy and lovable, right? And keep showing up.
Yeah.
Keep showing up. Yeah.
Are there specific volunteer roles where you feel like you have more struggle getting someone to want to do it than others?
Yes. Actually, the delivery drivers. So
really? I would have never guessed that's the one.
Yeah. We actually have a staff role that is open for our delivery resource specialist who really organizes our drivers in the morning. They go out and get all of our food resources and bring them back Monday through Thursday. So the position's been open for quite some time. And then those volunteer roles, you have to be able to lift about 50 pounds, and there's just some lifting and gathering and counting and all of that. So that's one role that's challenging to fill.
I'm just shocked that that's the one. But man, I will pray that this interview gets you some delivery drivers.
We also need some clerks and client support. And we are always looking for instructors and prenatal for sure, like maybe some retired nurses, that kind of thing. It's great for them.
Oh, that's good. Well, we will be praying specifically for that. If someone's watching or listening to this and thinks, hey, I know how to drive and sometimes I can lift 50 pounds or more, right? If someone fits in one of those categories or wants to learn more about Bridgehaven, where would you direct them to?
Yeah, so on our website, there's a Get Involved tab, and there's volunteer information there, and you can click on that, submit an application. It comes right to us. You'll get a phone call, and you'll be invited in for a tour then, and we'll have a conversation about where that fit might be.
Awesome. So go to the website, fill out the volunteer form,
Yep.
get a phone call and get a tour, and then plug right in.
Plug in.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's a great process. Well, Chelsey, thank you so much for letting us host you on this.
Thank you.
I am just so encouraged by the good work the Lord's doing here through Bridgehaven and through you.
Mm-hmm.
And I love hearing your story. And thank you so much. It's been a
Yeah,
blessing.
thank you. Thank you so much.